Hello all, welcome back to the BioRocks channel. In this video today, I'm going to introduce you with the joints. Okay, so without any delay, I'm going to start my video. Let me share my whiteboard with you all. Okay, so the topic that we are dealing today is going to be regarding the joints. The science which deals, the branch of biology which deals with the joints is going to be called as the arthrology. Arthrology, which deals with the articulation or the joints, okay, where the two bones are going to meet, okay, the two bones meet together, okay, but this is not a direct meet or it's not a direct contact, क्योंकि आपको पता है कि your bones are there is no direct contact because what is happening is your bone tissue is actually highly vascularized. A bone tissue is highly vascularized. Vascularized का मतलब होता है कि they are supplied with numerous blood vessels. Okay, so if they come in direct contact, क्या होगा यहाँ पर? If they smash down or if they are going to slam down or crash up, what happens is that is going to lead to the what you call is a bleeding. Okay, so this is not permitted. Okay, so that's the reason there is something present in between your joints. Based on that something present in between, so we are classifying our joints. Okay, we'll be looking at the classification of the joints. Okay, so classification of the joints is done on the criterion of two things. One is going to be what actually is present in between your joints, okay, that is in between your bones in a joint, and what is the function of that particular joint, okay. So that is going to be the two criterions. One is based on what is present in between and what is the function of that particular joint. We are classifying our joints into several different types. And if you look at anatomically, the first thing is they may have this fibrous connective tissue present in between them. They may have a fibrous connective tissue present between them, okay? And they may have the presence of the cartilage in between them, okay? And we may even have the presence of a special fluid, which is being called as a synovial fluid. So anatomically, the joints may have fibrous connective tissue, or they may have cartilage, they may have synovial fluid, okay? And based on functions, children, if you look at them, they are going to be, the first category is going to be the synarthrotic, we are going to call, where the function is they are going to have none, okay, or it might be very, very, very slight movement that you can see. But maximum we see that there is no such movements in the synarthrotic joints, okay. And there are the joints which show some slight movements. We call them as amphiarthrotic. So they are going to show some slight movement. We call these joints as the amphiarthrotic joints. And we have the last category that we are going to see is going to be about the diarthrotic joints, which show a very good movement, okay. They are going to show a very good movement. So we are learning about the joints here. We are speaking that two bones come together, okay, they join together for the enabling the movements, okay. And we see that they may have a fibrous connective tissue in between them. There might be some cartilage or some fluid, and they might show no movement, some slight movement, or we call it as like they may even show some very good movement here. We call such ones are being called as a diarthrotic, which are showing a very good movement. Okay, so coming on to the first category that we are going to see, children, is going to be the anatomical classification. Anatomical classification of the joints. So as I spoke about, the first one is they may have or they have the fibrous connective tissue in between them. Okay, and this connective tissue may be a regular dense connective tissue, as you have learned in your syllabus in the histology, or they may have a irregular dense connective tissue. But remember that in max, we are going to have the irregular dense connective tissue. This is mostly seen, for instance, if you're going to look at the bones like the radius ulna, these two bones, there is a what you call is a fibrous connective tissue as a thin sheet between them. Okay, if it is going to be the radius bone and if it's going to be the ulnar bone here, there is going to be a thin fibrous connective tissue which is going to be present, and we usually call this as a interosseous ligament. We are going to call it as. Okay, so this is going to join up, or this is going to be the one which is present in between the juncture of these two particular bones. Okay, and you can even see in between the bones like tibia as well as fibula also. I'll show you the slides that will be giving you a clear idea regarding that. Okay, that is going to be the fibrous connective tissue, and you can even see that this is going to be called as what? The connective tissue here, we are calling it as a interosseous ligament we are going to call. And the second category that we are going to see here is going to be the sutures. We usually see the sutures between what? The flat bones that we see in our skull, right? The skull. So you can see that your skull bones, actually, they are going to be the flat ones which are coming across, and you can see that these there is a fibrous connective tissue in between these particular two flat bones of your skull, and we call this as a suture. Okay, so this is also one of the best examples for possessing a fibrous connective tissue in between. Okay, and children, just remember that there is no movement here, so you can just remember that the fibrous connective tissues are usually synarthrotic, which do not show any movement. Okay, there is no movement here, children. Okay, the next one that we are going to see in this fibrous connective tissue is going to be the gum fosses joint. Okay, gum fosses joint. The gum fosses joint is nothing but, generally we are going to see that this is the tooth and we are going to see the root of the tooth. Okay, and this has been present in the socket. Okay, in the socket. Actually, a teeth is also is being considered as a tooth, or a teeth is considered as a bone, and this suture may be, sorry, not suture, the socket is being present either in the lower or the upper jaw, which is also a bone, maxilla or the mandible. And this particular socket here, the socket here, we are going to call it as alveolus. Okay, alveolus. And remember that the maxilla or the mandible bone of your jaw is this one, the socket where you can see, and you can see the teeth, which is also referred as a bone. So in between these two, there is a special fibrous connective tissue which is going to be present in between them. And this fibrous connective tissue present here is none other than the periodontal periodontal ligament. Okay, so here also you can see that in between two bones, one is going to be the tooth, the other is going to be your jaw. So in between both of them, that is in the socket, you can see the presence of a periodontal ligament, which is also a fibrous connective tissue. So these are the different things that you can see. You have seen in the long bones like this interosseous ligament. You can see the fibrous connective tissue between the flat bones of the skull. You can see a periodontal ligament, which is a fibrous connective tissue between the tooth as well as to the top of your socket, which is being called as a alveoli. Okay, so these are the ones that you need to remember. Okay, and children, just let me show you these such that it will be easy for you to remember this. Let me come to those slides that I need to show you now. So give me a moment, please. I'll show you those slides. Excuse me. Yeah, the first one that I was talking about was about the sutures. Okay, so these are the sutures that you can see. This is a coronal suture which is going to run transverse. Okay, and you can see the sagittal suture, which is going to cut the right and the left parts. Okay, so here we can see the presence of this particular, what we call is a fibrous connective tissue in the flat bones of your skull. And I was speaking about the, say, that is a interosseous ligament which has been present between the radius and the ulna. You can see that this curved bone, the radius, and the longer one, which is your ulna. In between both of them, there is an interosseous membrane or a ligament which is present here, which is joining these two bones. Okay, and this comes under a special category which is being called as what, as a syndesmosis joint, we are going to call it as. Okay, syndesmosis joint. And the next one that I was talking about was a gymphosis joint, where again you can see the presence of a periodontal ligament. So this is your tooth and this is your socket. Okay, in between both of these, you can see this blue colored thing what he has given, which is being called as a periodontal ligament. And this is called as that is a gymphosis joint. Okay, so now let me come and show you the other sort of joints. Okay, so let us go to the same. Okay, now come to this, where you could see this interosseous ligament. What did we call this as the syndesmosis joint. Syndesmosis joint. Where are you seeing the syndesmosis joint? In the radius ulna as well as in the tibia fibula, where you are going to see the interosseous ligament. So the fibrous connective tissue, if it's present, then we are seeing the categories in it. If it is present as a sheet, then we should call it as a syndesmosis. If it is present in between the tooth and the socket, we call it as a gymphosis joint. And if it is present in between the skull bones, we were calling it as suture. So these are the categories of the fibrous connective tissue joints. Okay, so these are the ones. Based on your examination, children, you need to remember the examples over here. Okay, so after that, we have seen about the cartilage, right? Anatomically, there might be cartilage which is being present here. So remember, children, based on this, we are going to have different sorts here. They may have presence of hyaline glossy cartilage between them bones, okay, in the joints, okay, or they may even have the presence of the fibro tough cartilage, okay, fibrocartilage. Remember that this ones which are going to have fibrocartilage are going to be the synthesis joints, and this is going to be called as synchondrosis joint. Synchondrosis joint. Okay, so just remember that if they are going to have this hyaline cartilage, we are going to call it as a synchondrosis, and if they have a fibrocartilage, this is going to be symphysis. Just remember that synchondrosis is being seen in the long bones. If you remember, children, your bones are going to have this long shaft, right? And they are going to have this epiphysis, okay? This is being called as epiphysis, and the shaft here is being called as diaphysis. In between these two, in when a child, especially in the young children, you can see the hyaline cartilage which is being present here, which is being called as epiphyseal plate. Okay, epiphyseal plate we are going to call it as. This is actually the hyaline cartilage. This can be seen only in the kids. Okay, this can be seen because later what happens is it is going to get ossified, mineralized, and it turns into bone. Okay, later in the when we are going to grow up, when we are growing, what happens is you can't see this what you call hyaline cartilage or the epiphyseal plate. Okay, and coming on to not only here, children, not only in the long bones between the epiphysis and diaphysis, there is another condition is you can see in the sternocostal muscles also. Sternocostal muscles. You remember when I was speaking about the what you call is rib cage or the chest wall, I was speaking about the sternum bone, okay, and this sternum bone, sorry, the sternum bone, and these ribs were getting fixed up to the sternum bone, right? And these are being fixed with what? A special what they call is cartilage, which was being present here. Okay, so this is a cartilage which is actually joining up your sternum bone. It's joining up your sternum bone as well as your ribs here. So we call it as, I told you, costal means ribs. So sternocostal, not muscles, but I have to call it as a sternocostal, that is a cartilage. It is going to be the sternocostal cartilage, which is the being present here. That is a hyaline cartilage over here. Okay. Now coming on to, these are the two conditions where you are going to see in the body that there is presence of cartilage, that is especially hyaline cartilage between the two bones. Now, coming on to the fibrocartilage, this is a tougher cartilage which is being present. This can be seen, see, it's a hint, symphysis. Symphysis is being found even in between the two pubic bones, and we call it as what? Pubic symphysis. Okay, this is seen in between the two pubic bones. Okay, pubic bones. And the next thing is, this can also be seen in another, that symphysis joint, that is going to be intervertebral joint. So simply you can call it as a vertebral joint. This can be seen in the vertebral joint. What is a vertebral joint? Let me take a fresh page. What is a vertebral joint here is, vertebral joint is, you can see that vertebrae, your vertebrae are present one above the other. Okay, your vertebrae are present one above the other, but they are being gelled together by this particular fibrocartilage structure, which is being called as meaning in between, intervertebral disc. Intervertebral disc. If you look at an intervertebral disc, how is this going to be is, they are going to have an outer ring-like structure. Okay, this is going to be the outer ring-like structure, which is being called as a annulus. Annulus. This annulus is being made of the fibrocartilage. Okay, and in between they are going to have some spongy structure, and this is being called as nucleus pulposus, we are going to call it as. Okay, remember children, as the pressure increases, because you need to remember that your spinal cord is just running in the spinal canal. Okay, remember that the vertebral column, okay, length, 1/3 of the vertebral column length is contributed by whom? Intervertebral disc. Okay, are you understanding? It's nothing but the vertebral column length, 1/3 of the portion is being contributed by the intervertebral disc. As the pressure increases on this particular, the intervertebral disc, what happens is, this particular nucleus pulposus is going to be pushed out. Okay, now what happens is, it applies pressure on this particular spinal cord, and this is also a worse condition where it requires a surgery for the correction here. Remember that as the pressure builds up over this particular intervertebral disc, okay, as there will be a increased pressure on the intervertebral disc, what happens is, your disc is going to get herniated. Your disc is going to get herniated. Okay, and this is going to lead to what is, your disc is going to get herniated. It is going to become more swollen out, and it starts applying pressure on your spinal cord. Okay, this is there. And remember that this particular one, that is a nucleus pulposus, is inflated during the morning times because of the what you call is a flow of the fluid, and later it gets deflated by the night as the pressure goes on increasing. That's the reason you can see that a person's height is going to be longer during the morning sessions, and during the night it is going to be a bit reduced. Remember, as the age advances to 60 years or above, what happens is, your intervertebral disc, which is present, actually becomes flatter, due to which what happens is, there is a damage. What happens is, the height of the person as they grow older, The height decreases because of what is happening is the intervertebral disc, especially the nucleus pulposus here, is going to become flatter. Okay, that's the reason they just go on becoming what you call is that is, they do not become shorter, but it's a nucleus pulposus and the vertebral disc has become flat. So their height is not going to be the same as when they were adults actually. Okay, this is vertebral joint that you can see. So here also you can see the presence of the fibrocartilage in the annulus. Okay, this is one category that you can see, that is in the cartilaginous joints. Okay, now coming on to the last one that we are going to deal is going to be the synovial joints. Okay, synovial joints. This is the joints, that is movable joints. Remember children, I told you that the cartilaginous joints can be usually what you know, they are going to be the amphiarthrotic, because they show very slight movements. They show very slight movements. Okay, the next one that you can see here is a synovial joints, which show a very free movements, and we call these as diarthrotic joints. Okay, they can be regarded as a diarthrotic joints because they are showing very good movement, very good movement. Coming on to synovial joints, if you remember, it's going to be like the if you look at the humerus bone. Okay, and if you look at this ulna. Okay, the ulna as well as the humerus here, you can see that these two bones are going to be ending up with, they are going to be covered up by cartilage here. Okay, this will be hyaline cartilage once again. Okay, because as you know that when the two bones are going to slam down or crash, it's going to be bleeding. So they are what you call is covered up by this particular hyaline cartilage. And since this cartilage is present in the joint, you can call it as a articulate cartilage. Okay, articulate cartilage here. Okay, and next one is children here. Remember, there is a special membrane which is going to cover up here. There's a special membrane here, and this special membrane is none other than the synovial membrane. This is a synovial membrane. Synovial membrane is highly vascularized. It is having a very good supply of blood here, and when the blood is being supplied or passes to this particular, circulated to the synovial membrane, there is a fluid which is going to filter out into this particular space between these two bones. And this space here is being called as synovial space. Okay, this is a synovial space, and the synovial space will be filled by what? It is going to be filled by the synovial fluid. Where did the synovial fluid come from? Come from the blood. So as the synovial membrane is going to be circulated with the blood, there is a fluid that squirts out from the blood, as we have seen in the lymph formation. In the same way here also, the fluid gets filtered out from the membrane, from the blood vessels, and it gets filling up this particular synovial space here. Okay, and this synovial fluid will be very denser, and this is going to have the consistency same as your white albumin, that is your albumin, which is the white portion of your egg, that is going to be that denser over here. And remember, these joints are being covered by this particular what we call is the ligaments here, which are going to completely cover up, and they're going to usually bind up this particular two joints here. And these ligaments which are joining up here are being called as what is, they are being forming up a capsule like structure, right? And how is this capsule? This capsule is like the fiber. So we are going to call it as they're forming a fibrous capsule over. What are these? These are nothing but your ligaments. Remember children, how you remember is bone and a bone is joined together by a ligament. Okay, whereas a bone with a muscle is what you call is joined together by a tendon, by a tendon. So bone and muscle together with tendon, and it's going to be the bone and bone with the ligament. Have you remembered this is the trademark? Trademark means tendon, muscle. Okay, so if this is being present, TM is nothing but trademark is nothing but tendons have to come, then you are using a word as a muscle here. Okay, so these are the synovial joints. Okay, these are the ones that you need to remember. So what do you remember here is nothing but you can see in the knee and your elbows. Okay, the synovial spaces, the synovial joints, which are showing you a very good movement here. Even interphalangeal movements also, that is in between your fingers and toes also. You can see that there is a free movement, which are the diarthrotic movements. Okay. Now, let me show you the slide. Let me show you the slide for you. Mm, yes. So this is your symphysis, that is a synovial joint I was talking about. So this is your two bones, okay? They are being lined up by the hyaline cartilage here, which we are calling it as articular cartilage. It is glossy, okay? And you can even see that there is a space here, the synovial space, and this is a synovial fluid, which is squirting out from the synovial membrane as it is being supplied with a very good blood supply. Okay, so that is going to be the one here, and there will be, I told you that there will be lots of ligaments which form a fibrocapsule structure over these two bones over here. Okay, and remember, I spoke about the symphysis joint. I haven't shown you, so this is a slide for this. So you can remember that these are two of your pubic bones which are joined together by this particular cartilage here. And as well, you can even see that in between the two vertebrae, you can see this particular annulus, that the intervertebral disc, which is going to have an annulus, the outer ring-like structure made up of the fibrocartilage. Okay, and the next thing that I have shown, that is, I have spoke about was synchondrosis joint, that you could see in the epiphysis and the diaphysis. You can see epiphyseal plate, which is a temporary hyaline cartilage. As you grow, it's going to get what you call is mineralized. And you can see that in between the sternum as well as a rib here, there is a cartilage, which is also once again a hyaline cartilage, and we call it as a synchondrosis joints. Okay. So I hope, children, you have understood this. I tried to make it easier by showing you the slides. So just remember, it's a very easy topic, but for the examination point of view, you need to remember the examples over here, because they ask you those in your medical entrance examinations. Okay, so if you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe my channel, and share this channel with many others too, because I'm putting efforts to make the subject easier. Okay, and I'm completely basing these videos on the NEET syllabi and the points that are required for your examinations. Okay, so I request you all to please do even comment in the comment section how you like the video, and subscribe and share this channel. Thank you all. Thank you.